Good afternoon. It is an interesting perspective for Michelin to intervene today not as a provider of mobility solutions, but as a road user. And I will therefore share with you a few comments from our perspective as a worldwide industrialist who cannot operate without road transport and without good roads. Maybe to start with, just a quick reminder about who we are. As you probably know, we are a 125 years old company, a worldwide leader in its field, whose purpose is not just to make tires, but it is to make mobility of both people and goods safer, cleaner, and more pleasurable. You will note that I didn't really mention the word tires, and this is because beyond tires, we actually do provide and look forward to providing even more in the future mobility solutions. This means that services are an ever-increasing and critical part of our offer. We operate on two markets: business to consumers, that is cars and motorcycles, where differentiation from our competition and brands are of the essence. This market, just to give you some perspective, represents roughly 60% of the worldwide tire market, estimated at $200 billion. And the second market which we operate on is business to businesses, where the key factors are not only the tire performance, but its direct impact on the customer's own performance and, of course, the service that comes with it. We operate a portfolio of brands, some global, like Michelin and BF Goodrich, some regional, Kleber in Europe, Uniroyal in North America, some local, like Warrior in China. Some are premium brands, other are tier 2 brands, other tier 3 brands. Some are specific to certain types of tires. We also own distribution businesses, Euromaster in Europe, TCI in the US, and the Tire Plus franchise in Central America and Asia. My purpose here is not to advertise for the company, but simply to underline the complexity that this portfolio generates, both in terms of manufacturing and logistics. To illustrate the service that goes around tires, this tire that you have on the screen is a giant earth mover tire. Just to give you some illustration, the dumper which it sits on, which is a 797 Caterpillar giant dumper, has a 200-ton weight and carries a payload of 400 tons. This runs on 6 tires, which cost $80,000 a piece. Those tires usually last approximately 6 months in those giant mines. And because of the cost of running the mine is critical, stopping the dumper may prove too costly. So those tires are equipped with chips that provide information about their wear, their temperature, and the usage, and allow the mine to change the path of the dumpers depending upon the conditions of the tires, so that they avoid stopping the dumper to replace or repair the tire. Another illustration of service is about farms. When talking about farming tires, large farms are more concerned with the yield per acre than the cost of tires. Tires with ultra-low pressure, yet the same level of performance, can decrease substantially soil compaction and increase the yield per acre by 10 to 15%. And many of you flew in to this conference, and you will understand that for commercial air traffic, what is at stake is maximizing the takeoff and landing cycle and reducing the weight. Airlines actually do not buy tires, they do pay a cost per cycle. A cycle is landing and takeoff. As a company, we operate, like all of us, in a changing environment. This doesn't come as a surprise to you, but for a manufacturer like us, the ever faster changing expectations from our customers, be they consumers or professionals, requires an ever-increasing need for us to be reactive. Therefore, logistics effectiveness is mission critical for us. I highlighted earlier that we have a worldwide presence. We manufacture tires on 4 continents and sell them on 5. So we do not manufacture in Africa, we manufacture elsewhere, everywhere else in the world, with 67 industrial sites in 17 countries. We manufacture all types of tires, and we have a fairly balanced industrial and commercial footprint. Consequently, our industrial footprint is at best regional, when not global. The range of products, the costs, and the competitive nature of our industry do not make it possible to manufacture all tires sold in a country in that given country. On the contrary, on average, 75% of the tires sold in a given country are imported from another one, and conversely, 75% of the tires manufactured in a given country are exported. Hence, the complexity of the logistics flows that you see on the screen. So as I said earlier, logistics is mission critical. And it is not just about shipping our finished products to our consumers and customers, but also about feeding our plants with raw materials, some of which are highly perishables, in time to avoid risking stopping production. Our supply chain is twofold. Upstream, and I will not get into the detail of the complexity of the chart on the screen, but when it comes to supplying our plants with raw materials and semi-finished products. A tire is, in fact, a highly complex product which incorporates more than 200 different materials: natural rubber, synthetic rubbers, carbon blacks, silicas, chemicals, steel, textile cords, and so on. Actually, more than 3,000 different products coming from the 5 continents, but some of them with a very limited number of worldwide suppliers. And the second part of our supply chain is the downstream part, when it comes to delivering the right tire at the right time to the right customer at the right place. And believe me, this can often be a challenge. So we can neither stop our plants, because we would not be able to supply them with the raw materials, nor risk degrading the service level to our customers. Now, the supply chain which I just described, upstream and downstream, uses 4 types of vehicles. Air freight. This is obviously highly costly, and we only use it in case of emergency supply, mostly raw materials, in order to avoid stopping the plants. Maritime freight. This is used for heavy and bulky products, there again mostly raw materials. Rail. This transportation means is highly dependent upon the local rail network, and if we are fortunate in France to have a good rail network, we are more often the exception that somewhat proves the rule. So we are left with road freight. And road freight accounts for 80% of our overall logistics. Maritime, air, and rail only accounts for 20%. Both supply chains, which I described earlier, upstream and downstream, operate under several key constraints. When it comes to the materials that we use to manufacture a tire, many of them have short use-by dates, which are critical to our product's performance, sometimes no more than 7 days. They only stop changing conditions once they are incorporated into the tire and the tire is cured. And as I said earlier, we cannot risk stopping one of our 67 industrial sites around the world. And as I also said earlier, when it comes to supplying our customers, our ability to deliver them with the right level of delivery service is critical and a competitive advantage. So my testimony today was just to insist on the fact that as an industrial company, we can only operate and continue to serve our customers if we can rely on good roads, effective roads, roads that are well maintained, roads that are adapted to the traffic so that our supply both upstream and downstream is not held up, roads that eventually will be connected roads. This is critical for us if we want to go and get the remaining percentage in the service quality that our customers are expecting from us. Thank you.